Your ability to focus has been amputated. You haven't felt the wound because the phantom limb is still twitching to the rhythm of your notifications. But the core of you, the part that is capable of deep thought, profound creativity, and unwavering presence, has been surgically removed from your consciousness by the world you inhabit. You were not born this way. You were not born with a mind that flits from thought to thought like a frightened bird. You were not born with a thumb that instinctively reaches for a glass screen in every single moment of silence. This is a conditioned sickness. You have been subjected to a deliberate and masterful psychological attack, and you have not even identified it as a war. The enemy is an entire ecosystem, a global architecture of distraction known as the attention economy. Every app, every feed, every headline is a weapon engineered by 1,000 brilliant minds with a single objective: to hijack your most precious resource, your focus, and to sell it to the highest bidder. They are not selling you a product, you are the product they are selling. Your attention is the new oil, and you are giving it away for free every time you obey the sacred ping of a notification. And the result of this relentless assault is that your mind has become an addict. Its drug is cheap, empty, novelty dose stimulation. Every scroll is a small hit. Every new tab is a bump. Every notification is the ding of the bell that makes Pavlov's dog salivate. You are no longer in control. You are a slave to a digital dopamine loop that has been designed to be as addictive as any substance known to man. The symptom is a constant, low-grade anxiety, a terror of silence, a frantic need to fill every empty moment with noise, with content, with something. The most terrifying place on earth for the modern soul is a quiet room with no screen for 10 minutes, alone with its own thoughts. We have become so desperate to escape the perceived pain of boredom that we have willingly locked ourselves in the actual prison of perpetual distraction. There is no productivity hack that can fix this. There is no app that can cure you. There is no life-changing book you can read in a dozen scattered 5-minute sessions. There is only one antidote. It is ancient, it is powerful, and it is excruciating. The antidote is boredom. You must stop thinking of boredom as a state to be escaped. You must begin to see it for what it is, the painful, necessary, and sacred process of withdrawal. It is the mental equivalent of a forced detox. It is the cleansing fire that will burn away the addiction. When you sit in a silent room and feel that frantic, clawing need to do something, that is not you. That is the addict screaming for its drug. That is the phantom limb twitching for the notification that will make it feel whole again. This is your intervention. The first step is to admit you have a problem, to acknowledge the amputation. The second, and far more difficult step, is to begin the detox. You must be willing to walk into the silent room, to sit with the screaming of your own addicted mind, and to refuse to give it a hit. You must learn to endure the excruciating, maddening, and profoundly clarifying pain of the first few moments of true boredom. You must learn to endure the excruciating, maddening, and profoundly clarifying pain of the first few moments of true boredom. Let us be clinical. What you are undertaking is a detox. And like any detox from a powerful, addictive substance, the initial phase of withdrawal will be a form of private hell. Your nervous system, accustomed to a constant eye drip of high novelty, low substance information, will rebel with ferocious violence when you cut off the supply. You must understand what is happening to you, not as a personal failing, but as a predictable series of clinical symptoms. The first symptom is the frantic itch. The moment you enter the silence, the moment you put down the phone and turn off the screen, your mind will begin to scream. It will feel like a physical craving, an itch deep inside your skull that can only be scratched by the familiar glow of a screen. Your thumb will twitch, your body will feel restless and agitated, your brain will generate 1,000 plausible excuses for why you need to check just one thing. I need to look up that important fact. I might be missing a critical email. What if there's an emergency? These are the lies of the addict, bargaining for its next fix. Your first task is not to fight this itch, but to simply observe it, to watch it rise and fall like a wave, to feel its texture, to study its desperate, pathetic power without surrendering to it. Once you have endured the physical itch, the second symptom will begin, the mental firestorm. Your brain, denied its external source of stimulation, will attempt to manufacture its own. It will unleash a chaotic, torrential downpour of internal noise. A song you haven't heard in 10 years will play on a relentless loop. A meaningless, embarrassing memory from your childhood will flash before your eyes. A litany of your anxieties, your to-do lists, your unfinished business will scream for your attention. This is not a sign that you are bad at this. This is a sign that the detox is working. Your mind is thrashing like a cornered animal. Again, your task is not to engage with the chaos. It is not to organize the to-do list or analyze the memory. It is simply to watch the storm rage, to be the silent, unmoving eye in the center of your own mental hurricane. If you can withstand the firestorm, you will arrive at the third and most important symptom, the great confrontation. When the frantic itch has subsided and the mental chatter has quieted, there is a final, terrible silence. And in this silence, the things you have been using, distraction to run from, will emerge. The quiet anxieties about your future, the unresolved grief from your past, the deep, gnawing questions about your own purpose and meaning. This is the moment everyone is running from. This is the raw, undiluted truth of your own inner state. It is the real reason you are so afraid of being bored. This confrontation is the entire point of the exercise. Therefore, your first prescription is this. It is not a suggestion, it is a command. Once a day, for the next 7 days, you will enter a room alone. No screens, no books, no music, no podcasts. You will sit on a chair, you will set a timer for 10 minutes, and you will do nothing. You will not meditate. You will not do breath work. You will not chant a mantra. Those are just more sophisticated forms of stimulation, a way to give your frantic mind a new task. No, you will do nothing. You will simply sit, and you will endure. You will endure the itch. You will endure the firestorm. You will endure the confrontation. Your only goal is to not get up until the timer sounds. Your only victory is to outlast the screaming of the addict. This 10-minute hell is your training ground. You are not seeking peace. You are building calluses on your mind. You are teaching your nervous system, through brute force repetition, that silence is not a threat to be avoided, but a territory to be conquered. And once the screaming of the addict begins to quiet down, a new faculty begins to stir in the silence. The part of you that has been amputated begins, slowly, painfully, to grow back. The part of you that has been amputated begins, slowly, painfully, to grow back. After you have endured the initial, hellish withdrawal, after you have sat through the screaming of your own addicted mind day after day, something remarkable begins to happen. The frantic noise begins to quiet down. The desperate itch for stimulation begins to fade. The silence is no longer a source of terror. It becomes a source of power. It is no longer an emptiness to be feared. It is a space to be commanded. In this newfound silence, you witness the rebirth of your own mind. The first power to return is that of deep focus. This is a superpower in the modern world. While others flit from task to task, their minds shattered into 1,000 tiny fragments by a constant barrage of digital shrapnel, you will discover that you can now direct your attention like a focused beam of energy. You can sit with a single, difficult problem for hours, uninterrupted. The mental fog lifts, replaced by a crystalline clarity. You can absorb complex information, make subtle connections, and produce a quality of work that is simply impossible for the distracted mind. You are no longer a scattered beam of a flashlight, diffuse and weak. You have forged your mind into a laser, capable of cutting through the most difficult problems with patient, unrelenting pressure. With this focus, the second power emerges, the birth of original thought, creativity, insight, and genuine problem solving do not happen while you are consuming content. They do not happen while you are scrolling through the thoughts of others. They are born in the quiet, fallow moments in between. They are born in the space you have now created. Boredom, you discover, was never emptiness. It was fertile ground. By constantly flooding that ground with cheap stimulation, you were making it impossible for anything of value to grow. Now, in the silence you command, your own ideas finally have the space to germinate. Your unconscious mind, freed from the relentless assault of external noise, can finally get to work, making novel connections between disparate ideas. Your most brilliant insights will not come to you while you are staring at a screen. They will come to you while you are staring at a blank wall, on a long walk with no podcast, in the silent moments before you fall asleep. You have ceased to be a mere consumer of ideas and have become a creator of them. Finally, you learn to wield this new state as a weapon. This is the weaponization of silence. In a negotiation, in a difficult conversation, you learn that the person who is more comfortable with silence holds all the power. While others rush to fill the void with nervous chatter, revealing their anxieties and their positions, you can simply wait. You can remain calm, present, and observant. This unnerves them. It makes them feel exposed. They will inevitably talk themselves into a weaker position, simply to escape the discomfort of your silent, focused attention. In your work, you can now take on massive, complex projects that would mentally break the average person. You can build empires, write symphonies, solve impossible equations, because you are no longer limited by a fractured attention span. Your ability to endure long periods of solitary, deep work becomes your single greatest competitive advantage. You have walked through the fire of silence and come out the other side. The phantom limb has become real again, stronger than it was before. The addiction has been broken, and you now see the digital world for what it is, a sea of noise in which you are a sovereign island of calm, focused intent. You have learned that boredom was never the enemy. It was the cure. The most valuable territory in the 21st century is a quiet mind. You have reclaimed yours. The world will continue to scream for your attention. Let it scream. You have finally learned the power of not listening.